You are watching Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Here again are your Reel to Reel hosts, Sharon Rulier and Ken Lancaster.
In our Focus on Life segment, we bring you a story about life's faith journey. Many of you who are watching tonight might have grown up in the Catholic Church, but our mission as disciples of Jesus is to continually reach out and to evangelize, bringing the good news to others.
On this Holy Saturday, we have the inspiring story of a Springfield woman who converted to Catholicism at the young age of 85. This story of conversion is proof that when it comes to salvation, it's never too late. Here's Reel to Reel's Carolee McGrath.
On any given weekday morning, you'll find Norma May Walker at St. Catherine of Siena Church in Springfield. Many in the pews were raised in the Catholic faith. 86-year-old Norma has just begun her journey.
I always woke up between 3 and 3:30, and that's the time that the bad things happened.
For years, Norma had nightmares about that horrific night in 2002 when her daughter was murdered. She was working the overnight shift at a gas station in Springfield when someone came in, robbed the place, and attacked her. At the time of her daughter's death, Norma was still reeling from the sudden death of her husband, the love of her life. Norma, who was raised a Protestant, says at one point her grief became so unbearable she wondered if life was even worth living.
I couldn't hold anymore. I think I was so filled that I couldn't push anymore in me, and it just was smothering me.
But one morning, a slight change in plans changed everything in Norma's life.
I thought, I've got to find something today that will make me happy. I had seen an ad that had a big wagon full of fruits and vegetables, so I thought, gee, that looks so good. So I thought, that's what I'm going to do today.
So she headed down Parker Street in Springfield, a drive she had done 1,000,000 times before, it seemed.
I just turned in the parking lot and pulled up by the church and sat there for a little while.
She did the same thing for the next few days.
Probably about 5 or 10 minutes, the tightness in my back left. I just felt so good. I looked up at the church and I thought, how wonderful it must be to live so close to the church. And then I saw the cross at the top, and I says, and that's watching over everybody.
When Norma finally worked up the courage to get out of her car, she started walking the grounds here at St. Catherine's, and she was especially drawn to this memorial dedicated to the unborn.
It was just so, I don't know, just so dainty, delicate. And then, and at first I didn't read, I just looked at it from the car. And then when I went over and I realized it was for the unborn babies, it just was even more important.
When her neighbor and St. Catherine's parishioner Barbara Strykars found out Norma was sitting in the back of the church, she encouraged her to take the next step.
She says, I think it's time you spoke to the priest.
So Norma made an appointment with Father Jack Schaefer.
He was soft-spoken and very gentle. And I started to tell him about how much I hurt inside. I was just packed solid with grief. And he let me talk, and I finally talked, and I just poured everything out. And boy, I think when I left that office and walked out of there, I felt like I was hardly on the ground. My feet almost flowed out.
With the help of Barbara and Father Schaefer, Norma went through the RCIA program. She made her confirmation 2 days after her 85th birthday in October of 2008, with her sponsor, Barbara, by her side.
She's an amazing woman who cannot get enough knowledge. Asks me questions, usually I don't know the answers anymore. She knows everything. I kind of can go to her now.
One of the things that I really believe strongly is that our faith journey is lifelong, from the moment of birth to the moment of death, and that in the course of that journey we're constantly growing, we're constantly learning, and moving closer to God.
Norma is now a greeter at Mass every Sunday, and she helps out with the RCIA program.
Norma's story is an inspiration to me.
Norma says she doesn't see herself as an inspiration, just as someone who has fallen head over heels in love with Christ and his church.
all I can think of is a little phrase that was at my confirmation. I have loved you with an everlasting love, and I have called you, you are mine. And that's what I feel. I just believe that God has just wrapped his arms around me.
Norma says God never gave up on her, and she says God gave her the grace to forgive the man who killed her daughter. She says she hopes he will see, and others will see, that it's never too late to seek the love of Christ. Reporting for Reel to Reel in Springfield, I'm Carolee McGrath.